I'm here to share who we are. And is there a PowerPoint? Yeah. So our mission in Silicon Valley Hub is to bring Taiwanese or startups that's in Taiwan with bridge them with the Silicon Valley ecosystem. And we're not just a service provider, we're building a cross-border and highly connected platform where founders, investors, and partners can really work together. So next page. Next page, please. So right now we provide four core services designed especially for founders landing in Silicon Valley. First, we have workspace. We have hot desk, about 30 hot desks and meeting room, 2 main meeting rooms. And we have event space and advisory program. And last, we have a community events where we can connect the vibrant startup community and collaborates the leaders and community in the Bay Area. And this is the short video of how it's like in our hub, the vibe and the environment in Palo Alto. And there's just a new bar open at the first floor, which is really nice. And then the investors and founder can always go to grab like a drink, and the restaurant is right down the corner. Yeah, so over the past few months, we opened this year in January, and over the past few months, we have been gaining more visibility. We actively cooperate with local communities and accelerators, VC, and corporates, and we regularly take part in events like demo days, panelists, roundtables, you name it. So far, over 35 startups joined and has been onboarded with us. Some of them use us as a short-term lending platform, but others keep coming back to use the advisory program and the space and the community. So through all these interactions, we now have a better sense of which teams get the most value from us. So who do we support? We focus on founders who are serious about going global, who want to enter US or international markets, and who are seeking for investors and strategic partners. So if your startup is beyond the idea stage and you're ready to step out, experiment, and build a meaningful global connection, SV Hub is built exactly for you. So on this slide, this is a quick highlight of how the membership works at the SV Hub. So we have an official website now, so you can apply online very easily. So all the details on the slide, so feel free to look it up. And speaking of community, this is one of our strongest assets. Beyond the startups joining us, our community is expanding pretty fast. We now have over 200 community leaders that's supporting us. So inside this network, teams constantly exchange insights, share resources, and making introductions. So this is the part you can't really build by yourself or build alone. It's something that comes from shared momentum. So we welcome startups, investors, and partners to join us in building an international collaborative ecosystem. So if you plan to land in Silicon Valley, and feel free to reach out to me so I can show you around. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Jenny. Next, I'd like to introduce Toy Wyndham from the Canadian Chamber of Commerce.
Hi, thank you. Hi, my name is Toy Wyndham. I am the Vice Chair of the Canadian Chamber of Commerce. Thank you all for having us here. And we want to say thank you to Elias and Jesse and their entire team for organizing this. And bringing the dragons on. At the Canadian Chamber of Commerce, we foster and support the relationship between Canada and Taiwan and businesses alike. And so we want to encourage everyone to come check us out and join the chamber. We have a lot of events that support our members in their businesses. And one of them that's coming up is the Maple Ball on December 13th. And we also have a toy drive that both benefit the McKay Memorial Hospital. So I want to say thank you for having me here, and good luck to all of the finalists. Thank you.
Thank you, Toy. Before we get started, we have a special panel discussion. Every year we hear from investors that work with startup companies that one of the things that startups will often overlook is identifying who their customers, their first customers are going to be and how to reach them. So we'd like to introduce our panelists, starting with Elias Eck from Inspire, Alex, who's a co-founder of last year finalist APRO, Frank, who is also a former finalist from 2022, who's co-founder of a company called Couchspace, and longtime investor and supporter, Richard, who runs the founder and CEO of Gerber Consulting.
Hi, everybody. So I'm Elias. I am one of the co-organizers of Dragon's Chamber. And like what Adam just said, we will talk about how I got my first customer. It's one of those very, very pivotal, important parts of starting a business. And they will introduce themselves here in a little bit. But I want to say thank you to them to come here, and they're going to share a little bit about how they, broke that zero, got their first customer. So we've been doing Dragon's Chamber for 10 years. And, the way we do this is that we usually end up with about 30, 40 applications. And out of those 30, 40, we invite usually about half to come in for an audition. And then we spend 2 months to slowly whittle that down until we have the diamonds that are then getting to stand up on top on this stage. I'm also an angel investor myself, so I would say I have probably listened to hundreds of pitches by now. And as a marketer and salesperson myself, one of the things that always kind of irks me is that I feel like so many founders spend so much time thinking about their product. They're coming there, they're like showing off their little baby that they've been working on, and then you start asking questions about how they do their marketing and their sales, and you often get answers on, well, maybe I'll post some on Facebook and Instagram, and I think I'll find some customers that way, which I don't agree with. And I mean, I am no better. So Inspire, my company, is 23 years old. And 23 years old, it's been a long, long ride. When we first started out, we were actually going to be a phone answering company. We were offering customer service. We had done a lot of thinking, but not enough thinking. So, for example, we had studied on other companies like us in other countries that were answering phone calls for tens of thousands of companies. What we had not done, on the other hand, was actually survey Taiwanese companies and ask them if they wanted this survey. So when we started, we bought ourselves a phone system. We hired people, put them in an office, and we started offering this service, and we started going and selling. And we very quickly get to like maybe 20 customers or so. And then we got stuck. We just could not, for the longest time, getting to the 21st. Because we had now sold to all of our friends and their friends and like the low-hanging fruit. And what we hadn't realized was that Taiwanese bosses, especially back then, were not particularly interested in outsourcing. They were quite comfortable hiring a secretary and, just gonna have them sitting there and seeing what they were doing and so on. So that's how we failed on that. Now, obviously, So if I could go back and talk to Elias from 23 years ago, I would have said, you need to spend much more, time and money and effort on understanding your actual customers, asking them what they want and so on. Now, obviously, these days, so now then sharing how kind of we've moved on from that, right? After 23 years, things are very differently, right? Now we have a CRM system. We use HubSpot. We have a list of about 1,000 companies in that are a carefully curated list of, the current and potential customers that we believe are really, really, able to use our services. I have 3 salespeople and a great marketing team that are like really, making sure that these 1,000 companies understand what we do. So, but it took me, dumb as I am, years and years to really realize this. And that's why I wanted to have this panel a little bit to, help share so that maybe some of you who are more, just kind of starting out can benefit from my experience and the experience of these guys. So, Richard, please take over and tell us how you broke the zero.
Okay, thanks, Elias. That was very inspiring. What Elias says there actually rings true a lot with me as well. So my company is Gerber Consulting, and we mostly work with B2B companies in Taiwan, and then also international companies in the semiconductor field. Do their digital marketing. We help them manage their LinkedIn. We do design such as visual identity design, graphics, these types of things, websites, make films, and all this type of stuff. So that is our business. And I established Gerber about 10 years ago, and I had another similar company before that. But as we're going to be talking about sales and so on to help these startups, I have a similar experience. Like I found when I started the company, I didn't give it much thought at the beginning about sales and marketing. But I think I had a little bit of an instinctive idea about how to do it. And what I did is, first of all, you have to use your friends and people that your contacts, and you have to just, first of all, get out there. Like, don't be shy. You have to let them know what you're doing, and if they have people that they can introduce you to in that. Now, don't get me wrong, after a certain amount of time, if you still have to rely on friends and everything to get your business going, that's not a good sign. But at the beginning, you just have to get out there and just tell everybody about it. Another thing that I did was I would just, let people know about my new company. And I even, for example, I would look at trade shows, exhibitions, and get names and companies and just sort of cold call them. You also have to just, I know for a lot of people it's a very intimidating thing, but making phone calls and just, reaching out to companies. It's a numbers game. You might have to contact like 100 different companies to get maybe just a couple responses, but that's what it takes at that time. Also, like Elias said a little bit, is at the beginning have to be really open to kind of pivoting or changing. At the beginning I thought that what I was going to be doing was sales consulting, helping Taiwanese companies improve their sales process, because that was my background as a chemical salesperson. But what I found is the Taiwanese companies didn't want that help. They thought, and they are, very good salespeople already. So that's why I pivoted towards more of the branding and marketing, because I saw that need from the Laobans, the CEOs that I was talking to. They said, yeah, we don't really need that kind of help, but if you could do this, that would be great. So, being open to change. Also, just being, I found that being open to partnerships. As your company's more established, like for us, maybe we don't have as much partnerships with other companies. But at the beginning, I was open to somebody coming to me and saying, hey, can we partner on this? Maybe doing some exhibitions, or can you help us with this? So you have to have a very open mindset at the beginning, right? Now, you don't want to be pivoting all the time, but that was kind of my experience at the beginning. And then as you get more established, then you start having a CRM system. You have professional salespeople and these types of things. But Yeah, and also my experience was I had to understand Taiwanese bosses better. Like people say they don't want to pay for service, they don't want to pay for consulting. It's not really true. It's just you have to speak their language, which is very ROI, like always about ROI, these types of things. So, anyways, a little bit of my experience. And Frank?
Right. Thanks, Richard. My name is Frank, and I'm the founder and CEO of Couchspace, Taiwan's largest mindfulness meditation app. Couchspace actually offers integrated mental health support that includes, like I said, guided meditations, online counseling, AI companion, and corporate EAP services. Yeah, and yeah, we are actually a 2C company, and we also developed a 2B business model only last year. So I'm really new in the B2B market, but yeah, I actually accomplished at least 70 business clients throughout the year. So I was quite amazed by myself. So,
So how do you find the very first one?
I took it a very difficult path actually. So I'm doing an app, right? So how do I sell this app to my customers? All I had was just imagination at first. So I imagined like I could be the US companies like Headspace, Calm, and those type of companies where Google, Facebook, TikTok, Samsung, every company in the world, they use these type of mental health applications for the employees. So I thought, Taiwanese companies, we don't have competitions, so we should easily be the pick for them, right? And through this imagination, through the first 3 months, I had 0 customers. And the fourth month, I have 1 customer, which is my dad. And what I was trying to say is that I had to find a way to get more clients myself. And what I did was actually, I printed DMs. I contacted Elias, actually. And I tried Inspire. You should sponsor us, right?
Well, so the 3 winners of every year gets a coupon for our services, so that helps.
Yes, that really did help. So the service actually helped me bootstrap my the start, like who I should call. They consulted us with how to land our first client. Are you aiming for 5,000 plus companies, or are you aiming for just 10 people startups? And who are your target audiences? Right? Is it the HRs, or is it the C levels, and all sort of stuff? So that actually bootstrapped our first clients. And yeah, and I guess a lot of cold callings, like what you said. I have to actually pick up my phone. I had 0 experience in cold calling, and I hated it. My MBTI is INFJ, so it's hard for me to be on the stage and actually to talk to people. But I have to overcome that. And cold calling, handing out DMs, I hand out a lot of name cards, probably 1,000 of name cards last year. And yeah, I guess that's it. Like how I landed my first few customers, and yeah.
Thank you very much. So, Alex, take it over.
Alex is a singer.
No, they're going to cut my mic if I do that. No, thank you very much. Great job, by the way. I know it can be really tough to be on stage up here. But yeah, hello everyone. I'm Alex. I am the founder of A-Pro, your digital marketing solution for SEO. We basically help you create content very quickly, and we have a nice little AI score that will tell you how good your content is in the eyes of Google, as well as your GEO, like your Geminis and Perplexities. So how I got my first customer. So I've been here for about 16 years in Taiwan, and actually to spin off of that, I actually came over here to sing. I originally thought Taiwan would be great for singing, so I came here, I did the whole shows, and then through that, I've learned that there was no IMDb. So I thought this was a huge opportunity. So I created that application, the website, created a company, I learned how to code, and launched it. No one really liked it here in Taiwan. I couldn't really monetize it. So because I still had to eat, I started doing contract work. And through that, how I got my first clients was basically just networking, trying to meet people, as I was saying before, like, handing out tons of name cards. In fact, one of my first customers was actually the co-working space I registered in. I gave them a nice, sweet deal. I was like, I'm a little budding entrepreneur. So they were very happy with the website that I got them. And then fast forward 14 years, I started A-Pro. And from there, I was able to tap into my old networks that I had already established here in Taiwan. Another thing that I did was community building. So for example, I would do something called Coffee and Code every Sunday. And with Coffee and Code, I met a ton of great developers that I was able to tap into that talent pool, as well as attract other people that were looking for that kind of talent or kind of work. So I was approached in these little Coffee and Codes. They were like, people in the companies would approach me and be like, hey, can you help us do this project? Or can you help us do X, Y, Z? And here I am, like just a small community that I've started to cultivate. Let's see here, what else? Oh, yes. So in Taiwan, as Elias had mentioned, to really help with getting out there, our name out there, as a Dragon Chamber finalist, I was able to take advantage of Elias's cold calling. Really helped a ton. We got lots of great leads, warm leads, and able to then convert those. Afterwards, we are starting to use like a CRM, as like Elias had said before, like a HubSpot, to kind of streamline the entire process to make sure that we keep those customers happy. And yeah, that's about it, I think.
All right. So, Inspire has about 50 people that spend their days every day just making cold calls, right? That's one of the things we do. So in this day of AI, it makes me happy to hear that all of you still agree that, the old-fashioned phone call still works real well.
Well, AI is cool and everything, but humans are still warm.
Right, exactly. We still want to communicate. But that makes me wonder, okay, so once you got past your the really people around you that you could think about. How do you go about trying to find the lists of people to call? How do you know who to pick up the phone and actually call to?
Well, for as I said before, one way is we look sort of at the industries, the type of companies that we're after, and then one easy way is to look at the different types of exhibitions, trade shows, and so on that they attend, and then you just sort of go down that list and start sending them out materials, right? So you have to sort of segment your industry, you segment to your ideal type of customer. I think at first you have to also think, who is your ideal customer, right? So you have to sort of craft this. You might find that, oh, that direction wasn't the best, but I find that this type of customer, this industry is more receptive. And then try to find out other companies in that industry. So that's another thing. And then I think once you get to a certain point, especially in this day and age, you have to have some sort of an inbound strategy as well. Like where you make use of LinkedIn, you do a newsletter maybe. You have maybe some Google advertising, any types of things like that. Because you want to have both outgoing calls to actively get a customer, but you also want to create this sort of magnet of companies who know what you do and get the word out there, because that is probably in the longer term less labor intensive to get incoming leads rather than always have to actively go out there.
Yeah, and you go ahead. I was going to say, to jump off of that, one way to do that and being discovered is through SEO or like the GEO that's with AI nowadays.
Yes, well, good. Yeah, it's a good one. No, the SEO is very important. We pay a company. Maybe I'll talk to you later about that. But we've paid a company for many years now to help us with SEO. Telling us what type of articles to write, how to structure your website so it's SEO friendly, and all this kind of stuff. And because then you get higher up in the search results, and people I think that's more important than the sponsored Google links and this type of stuff. More credibility, right?
Well, I have to say, you guys took all I have to say. But funny story is that last week I had a customer. We've just closed a deal, and this customer, I asked her, how did you find us? And she responded saying, Google Gemini. So I think one thing about SEO is it is still important, but the way you do it is different. So I have to talk to you later too.
So to round this off a little bit, if you were going to give one advice to the more beginners in the audience, the people who are maybe watching from home, we have a camera down there, so what would you say to somebody who are just starting out and they might still look at that big scary zero and wondering where that first customer is going to come?
If it's just one thing, I think it's very important to really have your sales pitch ready. And maybe to do that is to come up with a very powerful, a very strong deck that shows what you do, what problem you're solving, who you're doing it for, these types of things. Because not only is that, people don't want to hear a huge story. They want to know within seconds what you do and who you do it for, like an elevator pitch. Really focus on that. Practice it with people. And, that's also good for showing them, but then it becomes the basis for everything you do.
Well, if you have to try to be focused, download Couchspace and start meditating. But joke aside, just one sentence will be, you don't have to be great to start. You have to start to be great. Yeah.
And I guess one of my advice would be to keep going. Just keep going. Don't give up so easily. You may have to pivot, but still, just keep going if you truly believe in it, and don't give up.
All right. Thank you very much, Masters. I'm happy that you come up here and share with us. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Elias, Frank, Alex, and Richard. Dragon's Chamber was started 10 years ago by Elias and some other like-minded individuals. Entrepreneurship in Taiwan is very entrepreneurial. And small and medium-sized enterprises are a cornerstone of the economy, and yet the percentage of entrepreneurs starting businesses in Taiwan by immigrant entrepreneurs is heavily underrepresented. So Dragon's Chamber was started as a platform to give immigrant entrepreneurs an opportunity to showcase their businesses and to link up with the investment and angel investment that they would need to be able to grow their businesses. Before we get to the pitches, I want to take a few moments to thank our sponsors and organizers. This event isn't just today. It started months ago. First with taking applications from a lot of different companies, screening them, having a select group come make their initial pitches. There was a lot of coaching, a lot of mentoring from our dragons and other people who donated their time. And I do want to take a moment just to thank our sponsors. Musa Trademark they are providing free Taiwan and discounted Chinese trademark registration services for the first place team, as well as other services for all teams. Future Ward, who's donating free hot desk, 3 months for the first place winner, 2 months for the second, and 1 month for the third. Yunkyo Partners, who's offering 1.5 hours free consultation. Gerber Brand Consulting, who will provide a half day of brand strategy diagnosis with their consultants. Inspire, who's a B2B lead generation company, who's providing 30,000 NT worth of telemarketing services for all 5 finalist contestants, as well as free phone answering service for 3 months. And finally, the Canadian Chamber of Commerce, who's giving each one of our finalist contestants a 1-year free membership in the Chamber. I want to thank our event sponsors, True Development. Over the last few months, leadership coach True has spent many hours with each of our contestants. And then Sophistec Global, who is doing our video work. This is being recorded, and the entire unedited event should be up in a couple of days on the Dragon's Chamber website, I believe, right, Elias? Yep. And then our media sponsors, Taiwan Impact Entrepreneurs, who've been doing interviews with each of our finalists over the last couple of weeks, and also ICRT. And finally, I'd like a round of applause for our co-organizers, the Canadian Chamber of Commerce Taiwan, Inspire, and Musa Trademark. And now it's time to introduce our dragons. First up is Torbjorn Nording. I hope I didn't butcher that too badly. Torbjorn is an angel investor with a passion for disruptive innovation. Jan Bukio, who is an AI and big data industry startup mentor and angel investor. Elias Eck, who's co-founder and CEO of Inspire, B2B lead generation services. Igor Zilak, who's an investment pro representing Smart Capital, the largest angel investment club in Taiwan with over 500 members across 40 different industries. And then, I'm going to try this, Revital Spangental, who's a partner at Yonkyo, with over 2 decades of experience in innovation and cross-border growth across Asia Pacific, Europe, and North America. All right, now we're going to get into the competition, so let me explain the rules. Each company has a strict 7 minutes to make their pitch. And I do mean strict. When 7 minutes are up, you're cut off. Rudely, too. After that, there will be 3 minutes, which we'll be a little bit more flexible with for the judges, the dragons, to ask questions and elicit more information about the companies. At the end of the 5 pitches, the judges will disappear for a few minutes and make their final. And at the end of this, we will crown our 10th annual winner of the Dragon's Chamber. Yeah, no, I know, it's coming. Before we get to the pitches, though, and I hadn't forgotten Elias is going to come up and talk a little bit about starting a business in Taiwan and entrepreneurship in Taiwan.
I am an immigrant entrepreneur in Taiwan. Anybody else with me? Fantastic. So I am from Sweden, a cold country far, far away, where you can make fun things like snowman. And that little one there is my niece. The big one here is Jessie. And I want to take this chance right now to ask you to help me to applaud for Jessie, who is the co-organizer of this. Unlike me, she doesn't like to be up here on stage. So, I'll take this part, and she does nearly everything else. So thank you, Jessie. And she makes a pretty good snowman. So personally, I'm from Sweden. I went to the US, then I went to Japan, then to the US again, and then I ended up in Taiwan, and that was 25 years ago, and I have no plans to leave. On my day-to-day business, I am the CEO and founder of Inspire, and I work with a fantastic team of exciting people to provide B2B lead generation services for companies like Oracle. And so Business Next, the organizer of this fantastic show, and so many more startups in Taiwan are coming every day, and that's exciting to me. I wanted to mention a couple of our cases to what we do. So some of you know there's a Canadian pavilion over there. And so the Canadian government brought 8 fantastic startups to Taiwan. And 4 weeks ago, they came to us and said, we would like you to help us invite, to set up meetings for them. So 4 weeks ago, my team had to learn about 8 different companies, 8 different industries, 8 different target markets. And the goal was to set 3 to 5 meetings for each one of them with potential customers and partners. It wasn't easy, but last time I heard, we had 34 meetings confirmed. So, I think my team is doing pretty well. Another case I wanted to show you is Awesome Tech. This is Roger. He's a techie. He makes software to make elevators smart. Exactly what a smart elevator does, that I leave off the table for right now. But he's a technical co-founder. And he was telling us about, well, I don't really know how to do sales. I don't really know how to talk to customers. So he hired us to find out how to talk to his customers, and we did that for him. So we ended up handing him 23 hot leads, and he closed a bunch of them. You know, companies with lots of elevators that needed to be smart somehow. I'm also the author of the book, How to Start a Business in Taiwan, and it is time for a second edition, y'all. I wrote this book in 2013. A lot has happened. So any of you who are either running or are in the process of starting a business here, take up your phones. Please scan this QR code. Please give me your help to tell me what needs to be added to this book. Come on, get your phones up. I need you. Help me. Help you. Show me the money. No, that's a different movie. Okay? But I need to know, what challenges have you seen lately? Or what is good about running a company in Taiwan? Please fill out this. So since 2016, we have been doing Dragon's Chamber. It's been a long time. Anybody here who has been to all of them other than me? No? Anybody who's been to 9 of them? Revital. Anybody who's been to 8 of them? All right, Revital, you and I go and have a drink afterwards, okay? All right. So for the last 9 years, we have been, every year, we've been showing up here at Meet Taipei, and we have been giving immigrant entrepreneurs a stage to stand on, a lot of mentorship, and hopefully the exposure for them to grow. And, you know, for 9 years, that's 45 finalists. Out of those 45 finalists, 27 of them have ceased to exist. They are no more. They are an ex-parent. But 18 of them are still alive and kicking. And I think that's a pretty good number. But there is one area of Dragon's Chamber that I am myself feeling I have failed. And that is that I really, really hope that we can see more immigrants investing with more immigrants. We should help each other, you know? It's hard to start a business in a foreign country. So if you have ever thought, maybe I want to become an angel investor, then again, pick up your phone, shoot that QR code, and let me know. I'm hoping next year we can have some events specifically about angel investing and how to do it and so on, right? Okay? So have you all shot it? Are you all going to tell me? Are you all going to show up next year and learn how to, like me, lose all your money? All right. Because you know that the Taiwan banks is not going to give it to you. All right? Ain't gonna happen. So if you're gonna have the seed money, you're gonna have to find some friends, family, or fool to actually take the money out of your pocket. That's just the sad reality of it all. Now, why are we talking about foreign entrepreneurs, immigrant entrepreneurs? I've been using this example for the last 10 years. But somebody who has not seen my presentation before, tell me what these 3 companies have in common. Thank you, Adam. Yes, all 3 of these huge American companies were founded by somebody who was born here in Taiwan, moved to the US, started there, okay? So, you know, the Taiwan government and the Taiwan society tends to embrace these people, and they are fantastic. They are magnificent people. But one thing that I always feel that we maybe forget is that they were 5, 7, and 10 years old respectively when they moved. By the time they started their groundbreaking companies, they were already American citizens. And they did not have to go through some of the BS that immigrants in Taiwan might have to go through in terms of maybe having to go to the Ministry of Economic Affairs and ask them, would I please get the permission to invest in a Taiwanese company, okay? And you know, over half of unicorns in the US were co-founded by an immigrant. That is impressive. Unfortunately, here in Taiwan, we are not quite there yet, okay? In the UK, 14% of all companies is founded by an immigrant. In Taiwan, we're looking at maybe less than 1% still, okay? So we still have some ways to go. But 10 years of Dragon's Chamber and things are getting better, okay? The laws are improving, and more than anything, I would say, look at this fantastic startup community that we are part of, okay? There are literally investors, mentors, just walking these halls looking for companies to help. Isn't that fantastic? Now, if you don't know where to go and find those people, other than in here, I want to give a shout out to 11th Fleet. Do we have 11th Fleet here in the room somewhere? I think we do. So they are our partners, and they have for the last year organized some absolutely magnificent events called the Mix and Mingle. I would very much suggest that you go and like either 11th Fleet, Dragon's Chamber, or Inspire, and make your way to one of these Mix and Mingle events, because there you have a chance to meet your next co-founder, investor, or maybe significant other. What do I know? I wanted to give a shout out, for example, to CreatorDB, a company co-founded by an immigrant here in Taiwan who just closed a $4.7 million US Series A. Don't come and tell me that you can't make stuff happen in Taiwan, okay? And another shout out to a company that I invested in, Akivio, a German guy who came here 5-6 years ago specifically because he knew that Taiwan had the type of technology about water filtration and so on that he needed to build his smart hydration stations. Today they are kicking butt in Taiwan, in Singapore, in the Middle East, okay? And then of course, we have the OG of all immigrant entrepreneurs, the Swedish man Roger, who came here in 1989. He bought his yacht, and he's now spending most of his time, as far as I know, on that yacht. And if I had one of these, that's where I would be too. But I don't. So I just want to give one of many shout-outs we're going to do, that as soon as we are done here, when we have celebrated which of these 5, entrepreneurs there is going to be crowned the #1 Dragon's Chamber winner this year, we drop the microphone and we run about 30 meters that way for the first drink. Who's with me? Yeah! And again, some of you have heard me say this before. What do we say? We say Taiwan Ja. No, we say Taiwan Ja at the end because oil is bad for us. We need electricity. Let's get it on. I'm looking forward to hear the pitches today. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Elias. Take a few minutes to clear the stage. I want to restate the rules again so everybody's quite clear. 7 minutes for your pitch. At the 6-minute mark, you'll be given a warning in the back. And at the 7-minute mark, you will be rudely cut off. After that, the judges will have 3 minutes, and we'll be a little bit more flexible with those 3 minutes to ask questions, and then they will score each presenter. At the end of the 5 presentations, they'll disappear for a little while, and we're going to play a game. And then we will announce the 10th annual winner of the Dragon's Chamber. And so to kick it off, our first contestant. Let's see. Just a second. For our first company to contest, to pitch is going to be Prompt Master Pro.
So, hi everyone, or as we say in Taiwan, Tajiarao. I'm Vivian Ruggiero. I'm a French entrepreneur. I'm French-based and raised. I've been in Taiwan I had the luxury to be here for 7 years now. So, I've been a tech veteran of 20 years, building solutions in telco, gaming, e-commerce that are now serving millions of people. And recently, I've started with my co-founder Adi here, the Prompt Master Pro, which is, as we will see, an IDE. But the real problem that we were looking at is, what is a prompt? Most people, and I'm sure you will all have that definition, is the text that you're inputting to communicate with your AI. And when you're using that, you're generally using from a Word document, a Notion, your Slack, and that is unorganized. And 87% of companies and people are doing that right now, which means you are facing this exact problem. You are fragmented, you have tools everywhere, you have an inefficient workflow, you're losing time, and I'm quite sure all of you have experienced that. You know, you have a first version of the prompt, then you're creating a second version and a third version, and the third version starts to suck. And then the fourth one is even worse. And then you want to go back to the first one, but you already lost it. Or someone made a modification in the middle and you don't know where you are. That simple thing is losing 30 to 60 minutes every time you have to recreate your prompt. For a team, that's around 15 hours we have calculated in enterprises. Now, the only problem is not that. You have more problem coming with that. If you want to scale and you have to have user rights, security, compliance, you know, being an enterprise, then how? If you're starting to share documents, someone is leaving, you have someone in the Slack, no one knows where. But the astonishing thing was like 22% of all the information that is sent to generative AI right now contain proprietary data or secure data from companies. And they don't know what, and they don't know how. So we started to look at it as an engineering problem. How do we do that? And we created Prompt Master Pro, which is an IDE. An IDE is basically your Word documents or your Visual Studio Code for those who code. And you have this software on your machine. So you're controlling the information, it's there. And you can write your prompts, and we offer you multi-LLM testing. So you can compare your prompt to everywhere. You have versioning, so you could go back in time. You have team collaboration, so everyone can work together at the same time and do some modification, and you can track that, merge that, so you don't lose information. And on top of that, we have added our proprietary compression tokens. So using this IDE, we are able to improve accuracy by 40% this way, which is completely unfair advantage for companies right now, is we are taking the way you were used to prompt, and we're saying, no, the best prompt on the market, and you can look at OpenAI, Claude, Gemini, they all use a structured format, a section format. So let's help you write your prompt in a more structured way. And then when you query your LLM, depending on the LLM that you're using, we will give you the perfect format for it. So ChatGPT, for example, has been trained with Markdown. So we're giving you Markdown. You want to use Perplexity, Perplexity is trained on XML. We give you XML. You want to use VO3, VO3's best way to do videos right now with timing is JSON. We give you that. So we adapt the format that you will query the LLM with, depending on which LLM is. So that gives you a 30% boost of accuracy. But then that was not enough. So we created a compression engine, a proprietary compression engine that take your human readable language and compress it into a more of a machine readable language, which is more structured but less word, because machine doesn't need as much word as a human to express itself. And that we allow you to compare after that into all the models and look at, okay, which one has the best accuracy, which answer is the best for me regarding that specific prompt, and that will decrease up to 25% your input cost. Now, we're working on output cost, but that's going to come in 2026. That's another problematic. Now, why? The thing is, the market is there. There is more and more company. Like, look here. Like, how many AI companies do I seeing today that are using prompt? All of them. Everyone is using prompt. And there is no tool. There is no standard. Prompt is your IP. It is what makes run your AI at the end of the day. And we had this discussion when I did one of the pitching. There is a runaway token cost in the sense that tokens, yes, are cheaper, but we are using more and more and more of them all the time. Like, how many company here doesn't see our AI bills going up every month? Like, it's not going down, it's going up. because you're using it more. So we want to become the standard on that. We want to cover the full life cycle of prompting. And this is not a small market. This is a $7 billion problem, and we are targeting only 5% of that market, which is 347 million. But those 347 million in the next 5 years are going to grow 28% year to year. So in 5 years, that's a $1 billion problem that we're looking at. And we are targeting 4 major countries, like it's US, Canada, Singapore, and Taiwan. Most of them, we all understand why, because they are big players in their space right now. And we are targeting those categories of people in a certain way. We have an interest into giving it to academics because we want people to be trained since the start, and that's what Microsoft did in the 90s with Microsoft Server. Now, if you go to Korea, everyone uses Microsoft SQL Server for building games because that's what they were trained on. So we want to become the standard through academics. But at the same time, there is a lot of enterprises that want control on their data and their prompting. So we want to be able to serve them with on-premises. And then you have all the new AI startups. Basically, 70% of every startup that you see today here are customers for us because they are using prompting. And they want more organization. They want more control. They want to understand better. And so we have gone to a model where we cover the facility of you can start with 0. Everyone can have access to it.
That was quick.
Yes, I was more quick than I was expecting, but that's what it is. Thank you.
Round of applause for Prompt Master Pro. Now we have 3 minutes for the judges to ask questions.
Thank you, Vivian. You described the target customers as basically everybody. The professionals, the enterprises, the startups, and the academia. So could you define or give us more vision of your ideal target customers that have the biggest pain points that you can address?
Yes, we have 2 extreme, I would say, on that scale. We have these startups and prompt engineers, which want more organization, more control, more understanding of their prompts, and to help them, have that asset that they're building. Look at Vibe Coders today. We were discussing with the AI fashion companies to build the app. They've wrote around 200 prompts. 200 prompts, they don't have an history of some of them. They don't know where they are. So for them, all that knowledge is gone. And that's a really difficult part. They have to recreate it regularly, try to improve. So there is no tracking. So those one are, I would say, one extreme. But the other extreme is the enterprise level, where they want to be able to have access control. They want to be able to deploy that on premises in their own infrastructure, so no one has access to their own APIs. They also want to have compliance. There is no prompt compliance right now. There is no system that allows you to do that from the start to the finish. So that way, they not only control the cost, but they have the $7 billion compliance problem that is solved. And that's why we have these 2 extremes. And as we said, you say we're covering everyone. Not really. We are looking more at offering it to everyone. But who we are targeting is the person that's going to write prompt into a startup that will write not 1 or 2 prompts, but 100, 200 prompts in their life cycle. And then the enterprise that want the control, the cost, and the security of their infrastructure.
First of all, very good presentation. I've seen your
Thank
first presentations a few months ago up to now. Big improvement, so well done. My kind of question here is about customer acquisition. We are talking about B2B. B2B is tough.
Yes.
Even in the SaaS space. What methods you would use to acquire those users?
Well, that's a really good question. So the synergy that we have done here, those 2 extremes are basically the one that also drive a lot of the customer acquisition. And why? There is a lot of prompt engineers that work for companies that want tools for themselves first. And because you make it accessible, they will then propagate that into their company by satisfaction. That's one thing. So we have the freemium part of that. Then the academics, by training the students to the standard of Prompt Master Pro, then when they go to enterprise, oh, I have this great tool. I know how to use it. It's amazing. It works. Let's bring it to company. So that's too extreme. But then, using company like Inspire, for example, to do B2B and grow the network in Taiwan of enterprises and startups, or be at event like this. We had during this event, we are already looking at partnership with like 3 companies for them to, they sell LLM models or LLM systems for their customers. They want to have a tool for their customers to query the LLM model. So they are looking at integrating in the offer Prompt Master Pro. So this kind of strategies that we're using right now.
So thank you for a very interesting presentation and for addressing an important practical problem. Now, how do you plan to put a moat around this? Because from what I can see, there's many different actors already entering this space, and they are entering from different directions, and they are all competitors to you. So how are you going to be able to carve out a space where you actually can make a profit?
Okay, it's a good point. Let me answer you on that. There is actually right now on the market 4 competitors that do prompt engineering. 3 of them are on the online models, which means they give you an online platform. Enterprises don't want that. They want something on the machine that they can control in their network and their enterprise level of security. So that's one of the things. The second is we are the only IDE in the world to have a compression engine. No one else has that right now. And the third thing is, if we're comparing to OpenAI, Gemini, and all of that, we integrate all of them. We're not competing with them because we integrate all of them. And generally, they don't want to integrate everyone. They want to integrate their own platform. If you look at Gemini, they want you to use Gemini. They don't want you to use OpenAI or Claude. And so by doing that and having the ability also to integrate with custom models, then that's where we are different. That's where we are not competing with OpenAI or all those big models, and also where we offer this enterprise level IDE. So I would think that would be the answer to what you're asking for now. Pleasure. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Prompt Master Pro. Next up, we have DineHire.
Nope. Yes. Hi, I'm Diego. I'm the founder of DineHire. We are a job platform for food and beverage here in Taiwan. So let's meet Federico. Federico is a friend and is a client. As me, he's Italian and been here in Taiwan for several years, working here and living, of course. He runs a very successful restaurant. But he has a little problem that is a very big problem. Sometimes he cannot sleep at night. It's not because the business is not good. It's not because the client's complaining. It's because of something else. So sometimes he tells me stories. He shared with me some of his stories. For example, he told me some time ago he was working during a holiday and fully booked. So he go check the reservation, fully booked. But 2 of his waiters didn't show up. So he called them and one say, hey, sorry, I'm still here at the shopping mall with my mom. I don't think I can make it. And then he called the other one and they say, oh, really? I was on a shift today. Actually, I'm not even in Taipei, sorry. So that day was not pleasant for Federico. It was a bit of a mess. He lost business for sure because he cannot serve the clients in the way he wanted. So if Federico would have used DineHire services, let's say 1 year from now, when the whole set of features will be implemented, he wouldn't have this problem because he could simply call a waiter that can be there in 30, 45 minutes. You can just join, log in the company, in the platform, and get this kind of service right away. So in that case, for this specific feature, will be like a last-minute fix, something very useful for all the restaurants for sure. So this is how DineHire can help restaurants. So now let's see how DineHire can help job seekers. So this is Anna. She's a student from Vietnam, and she wants to finance her studies with some part-time job. She's entitled to do that. What does she fear? She fears scams because she has been there before. She applied on some platform, like Facebook and everything. She encountered this kind of situation over and over. Scam, unclear job offers. So she was struggling with that. She lost trust. So if Anne joined DineHire as she did, and as she used to find job, she have access to a set of verified restaurants and real jobs there. So it's a reassurance for her. It's a way for her to have trust. So in the food and beverage business, the hiring process is still a systemic failure. From the restaurant side, we can see a lot of no-show. Literally, as I mentioned with Federico, the guys don't show up. Or they always receive a lot of unqualified candidates. From the other side, the job seekers, they face a lot of scams. And of course, they also had to face vague job listings. So they don't know exactly what the restaurant wants. They don't show how much they will be paid, which will be the thing they have to do once they join on board. So here you can see a little bit of feedback of clients and job seeker. But we need to scale these to become constant, to become systematic. So the market is huge. We have almost 200,000 hospitality venues in Taiwan. Let's say we're targeting 1/3 of them because, let's say the lower end, maybe they're too small. They are not interested in hiring anybody. It's like a family business. And on the other side, maybe they're too big and they're really taking care of their own hiring system. So we're targeting now as the beginning foreign students that works they have the right to work part-time. So there are at least 100,000 students, foreign students, entitled to do that. And over half of them, they come from Vietnam, Indonesia, and Malaysia. So they are definitely suitable to join this type of approach. So our roadmap is to build a professional ecosystem. So with a verified and skilled pool of candidates, AI smart watching, so to make it easier and faster, on-call workers, like as a premium features, integrating also training and development for the people who will join this sector. And of course, always enforcing ethical standards. This is a very core of the platform itself, because we want both the restaurant and also the job seeker to always behave in an ethical way. This is how they're struggling so far. So right now we are in the first phase, where the free job post to grow the network. And of course, the second phase from next year will be to scale up with a subscription model and also add in premium features. So the goal is to have, by year 2, at least 2,500 paying restaurants and over 5,000 by year 5. So there will be a funding ask, of course, to fuel growth. Basically, we need to hire the key people that will enable this growth. Starting from sales closers, of course, to interact directly with the restaurants. Plus, having community manager. For example, I mentioned the big community now of potential workers come from universities. So we want to have a brand ambassadors in every university to spread the word and tell them that they can easily find part-time jobs in the restaurant sector right away. There is a platform that has been built dedicated for that. And of course, we also need technical team that will help to implement the premium features and of course, taking care of the platform itself. So we are planning to secure partners like university, bigger restaurant, visa consultancies, and all the ecosystem. So we are transforming Taiwan F&B sector one hire at a time, from staffing crisis to solution, from gigs to professional career, and from a shared vision to an achievable path. and 7 minutes is done.
Wow, ahead of schedule. Thank you, Deinheier. And now the judges, 3 minutes.
Thank you for the presentation. In order to solve the no-show and the scam problems, you must have some sort of very strong validation process. So what is the plan and how do you do it?
For the no-show, basically, the platform will enable to have a verified candidates. So that will be already from since the beginning. The candidates that they will apply will already have, for example, a badge as verified. It means through a trust system, step by step, over the time, you will have access to a pool that is more trustworthy. So all the candidates that don't behave in a serious way, in a trustworthy way, step by step will be taken out because the restaurant can signal, can mark that person didn't show up. So on the platform, that profile will be locked for a while. So it will help also the other restaurant in the future to avoid this kind of candidate. And as much the job seeker will know that this is what's going to happen, then of course it will be an extra motivation for them to approach in a more trustworthy way, a more professional way. I'm not sure if I get the question right. Maybe.
Hi, thank you for coming here today. I would like to ask, could you please elaborate on your business model, subscription and premium add-ons? What is included? Who is it target on, etc.? Thank you.
The subscription model right now is kind of similar to what is existing in other platforms. For example, restaurant will have access to post, for example, one position for 1 month, one position for 6 months, or 1 year for multiple positions. So that you can, you have the flexibility in time and number of positions that you're going to look for. Plus, there will be these premium features. One of them, for example, is to have like a Uber for restaurant, like the one I mentioned before. You will have a set of candidates that will, in their profile, they will show they're available on call. So if the restaurant will pay a premium, they can literally contact these people who already show their availability to come to work for you last minute. So that will be a premium feature, of course. And then there will be integration with some advertisement, of course. There will be integration with some classes for cooking classes, teaching them the skills. So.
Thank you for very easy to follow presentations with a lot of focus on the problem and the solution. Now, one thing I was missing is actually a description of your competition beyond job posting sites. So what is the closest business to your current vision for how your business will work that you have been able to find in any other country?
In which sense? Different sector or?
No, I mean, you define in what sense. So what is the closest existing business to your envisioned business? And could you talk about other competitors similar to that you have been studying? What are their strengths, their weaknesses?
I analyze also similar platforms abroad, for example. Abroad, they have the advantage the market is a bit more mature compared, for example, to the local market. And here, one of the struggle is of course, to have the end user to understand first what is the added value and, of course, jump on board. But here, even with the local platform already existing for many years, we all know the names. Plus, the free one, like Facebook, consider total chaos and also the source of potential scams. And also the other platform, they're a little bit too cumbersome and too rigid in their approach. Okay. That's why the sweet spot we're looking for is something in the middle, very specific, very narrow to this sector.
Okay, I think I have a little bit misunderstood then your target. are you considering becoming the employer on record, or is it always going to be the restaurant that is the employer on record?
The restaurant is always taking care of their own hirings independently.
Okay, so you are kind of an alternative just to a hiring platform. Okay, and that's why you compare yourself so much with them. Thank you.
Okay. All right, thank you. That's it.
Thank you, Dine Hire. And our next contestant is IIST.
Good afternoon. So my name is Nicolas. I'm the CTO and co-founder of IIST Incorporated. I've been living in Taiwan for about 12 years, and 5 years ago I've traded my hair for a PhD degree in Hsinchu University. Yeah. So our startup is specializing in designing trust and security system for hardware. I help equipment manufacturer to navigate through the maze that is cybersecurity. So last week or recently I had to pay my rent, and I tried to use an app to do that, but they asked me to renew my password. So I had to find a new letter, 3 capital, a Greek incantation. And after I gave them 2 codes and a blood sample, I faced a robot who challenged my humanity. And today I still haven't paid my rent because I had to practice for this speech. Yeah. So you may wonder why this is so complex. Why do we have to go through so much hassle to prove who we are, to protect what we own, and now to trust what we see? So there is a simple answer to that. It's because in what we do in our phone, our router, in your TV, the way you protect and the way you identify yourself is because you write secrets and you store them. If you write something, you can store it. If you store something, you can copy it. So we need to change that because we are connecting everything now. In order to change that, we need trust that is born from the hardware. We need our device to prove who they are and what they do by being unique in their nature. Just like you have a fingerprint, a face, and an eye. You can't clone that. So I'm going to give the same thing to hardware. And this is what we can do in Taiwan. We can build silicon, semiconductor, so we can equip every chip we make with this unique DNA for hardware. It's a dynamic, physically unclonable function. It's dynamic, it's physical, and it's unclonable. So instead of writing secret and storing it, we're going to do just like you when you choose your Gmail password. We're going to just remember the way to recover it. If there's nothing to see, there's nothing to hack. To make this very useful, we got to put this in product. So when we build chips, we add this in our current product set. So chips, module, USB key, that I will help every manufacturer to embed in their current system. I know now it's a matter of time before your coffee machine requests access to your Google account. They already have Bluetooth, you know. So we're going to have to upgrade this kind of security and put this kind of module into our new device so we can sign, access, verify, and encrypt data with different identity. You sign your own contract. You access your Gmail account. You verify your ID with the DMV, and you encrypt the data for your hard drive. You want to separate this and isolate that. Okay? So that's what we build, and that's the turnkey solution we provide there. So I see some of you are still skeptical. You say, I'm not buying it. So let's see who does, you know. So network equipment, in Taiwan, there's a major market for network equipment. The router, switch, gateway, they need this kind of unique ID to start connecting to different network. IoT solution provider, now they need to connect to different phone, different network. And even cloud service, we have Odoo over there. They can already use our key right now to do a second factor. Overall, this is a fundamental technology that can do secure data and program, protect networks, and always respect the zero trust architecture with everything born from the hardware. And today we can show you the first trust key, a first USB key that combine physically unclonable function, FIDO and C2PA. You need a PUF that is unclonable, you need FIDO to access your Gmail, Facebook, and you need C2PA now to sign your digital data. In terms of business model, this year we are focusing on providing turnkey solution, customized, so we can deploy quickly and make the solution more adopted in the local market, and eventually migrate more to specialize in package IC and silicon IP to make custom solution directly for OEM so they can build it on board. Yeah. Right now the market we target is a zero trust market, and we can forecast 0.001% of it next year, which is already 10 million Taiwan dollar. What we do is a fundamental technology. So it's applicable to content provenance trace, identity access management, robotics, and drones. Yeah. Our competitive advantage is being in Taiwan for semiconductor. We are the first deploying a dynamic PUF that is directly used in the field. And we have a full set that protects both the product and the user, which gives us an advantage of being one company into 3 different services that now you have to request from different stakeholders. I was the first doing FIDO2 and PUF and C2PA in PUF. Why? I can do it because I'm dynamic. And this is the true power of our technology. Right now, we also help companies to migrate for post-quantum cryptography. So all of this set can be enabled and powered by our new semiconductor technology. Our team is strong in terms of academic background, and we have a good backup from our CFO over here. If you want to give us money, he's right here. Yeah. And then we have a full Taiwanese team, including me, ready to take on. Yeah. Right now, we are targeting preparing our Series A. We already raised $4 million US in 2023. And we are looking for a lead CVC to expand to global market, fulfill our PQC roadmap for post-quantum, and attract early adopters for zero trust and IT.
And that's 7. Thank you, IIST. Turn it back over to the judges.
I just want to remind the Dragons and the team to keep your questions and answers short.
Thank you. You certainly convinced me not to do PhD here. I assume that your main competitors are the network OEM and ODMs themselves. Is that true to assume? Or perhaps you can share more about who are your main competitors? Thank you.
The true competitors, the final client is OEM, ODM. So there'll be competitors that will try to help them do security for them. So those competitors are system integrators. Those companies, they buy a chip from Infineon, they integrate, and then they resell to the OEM. So I cut the chain by directly making a security technology that is directly usable for OEM. Yeah. So our competitors are system integrators and chip manufacturers.
Thank you for sharing today. I would just like to ask, because the technology is fairly new these days, I would like to ask, what's the current go-to-market strategy? I know you mentioned currently you are providing turnkey solutions, but would you mind elaborating more? What's your plan in 2026 and onwards? Thank you.
Yeah. So this year we have pilot programs with some companies that integrate our module. I can do better. It's not optimal, so they use this early stage product to also do their own pilot. Eventually, I migrate to do everything on chip. So the modules become a chip, the key becomes a chip. But the strategy is to have a quick entrance. So a company that just talked to me here, they already have a system, they need a key today. They cannot wait for me to do my full process node validation that takes 18 months. So our strategy is to bring module first, and then later miniaturize for them to deploy in larger scales.
Thank you. Could you be so kind and compare this to the YubiKey?
It's a YubiKey++. So basically, YubiKey, they will focus on having FIDO2 compliance. They will add a one-time password manager, but they will remain in identity access. YubiKey, they use a secure element with a unique secret that is kind of stamped inside. So it's good. It's actually higher level of certification, but they don't have this ability to change or reset or be dynamic. So I will have the ability to add C2PA to share the key with different owner. You can deploy this kind of key as a key fob for a car. So you can share this, you can entangle cars with it. I'm not going to try to compete with YubiKey. It's a different market. I'm not targeting consumer market. That key itself, if you want to resell, we can compete with YubiKey. But the objective is to bring this dynamic in administrator pocket, in the daily people who have to control the environment, who have to connect to secure network. Eventually, I can try to make a B2C version to compete, but there'll be too much activities for one startup.
All right, thank you very much.
All right, thank you, IIST. Next up, we have Next Integral.
Hello. Hello, everyone. I'm Tech, so from Next Integral. I'm very happy to be with you today. We will share our inspection system for food and red packaging. But before talking about technology, let me introduce myself. So I'm French. I'm living in Taiwan for 15 years now. On my family, it's in France, so I usually go back once a year. And we have this kind of family party. So everyone brings something to eat and we all share together. And as I don't really know to cook, so I drink drinks. It's easier. And usually when I go back to buy some drinks, I notice something that everyone do, but without nothing is. So at the supermarket, we usually go to buy some drinks, but with perfect bottles. What I want to mean is if I show you two bottles, one with perfect packaging and the other one with tiny imperfections, you might buy the perfect one. So for customers, choosing perfections, it's natural. But for the factory who build this kind of products, delivering perfections, it's very complicated. So let's see how it's happened into this factory. So for example, if you have a drink factory, you have those production lines with bottles running at full speed, thousands of bottles per hour. You want to inspect every bottles. So you might ask your staff to manually check it, but they will get tired and they will miss things. So nobody is perfect. To solve this problem, you can find some smart machines who inspect every bottle at real times. So this kind of smart machines works perfectly, but there is very huge machines, very expensive, and very complex to manipulate. So you need to hire some engineer to calibrate, to install, and to run. And here, if you are a big factory, you can afford this. But if you are a small and medium factory, SME, it's more complicated. So the problem is, in this industry, there is more than 90% of SME. So they still rely on manual checks because they cannot afford this kind of machines that I told before. So this is the gap that we want to solve. So this is why we are creating our solutions. So we call it Net Zero. It's an AI inspection system specially built for SME. So there is an industrial camera, edge device for the computations, and the dashboards. So for example, if you have your drink factory, your convection lines with bottles, so you put the camera on top of it, and you can directly inspect the bottle in real time. So for example, here you have inspection of one bottle. You have two cameras, one on the top and one on the sides, and you can see if there is a caps or if the labels is misaligned. So what we have different compared to the existing solutions that we are plug and play. So that means you buy it, you install it, and you can run it in a few hours, not in weeks, compared to the other one. So you don't have to block your production line for weeks. And the other thing is we don't need engineers. So this is the main part that the staff of the factory can directly use it, even they don't really know about technology, because we will take care about all this kind of complexity. And of course, it's affordable. It's 10 times cheaper than existing solutions, and you can have your payback in a few months. So now that I'm talking about all this kind of technology, I will show you how we will sell it. So we will make it very simple. So you will have one payment for the whole solutions, camera, edge device, and dashboard. And the monthly subscription for the dashboards, depending to the options. And of course, if you want some retraining, we can also do this. So the question is now, how big is the market? So in Asia only, it's around $1 billion and estimate to 7 billions in 10 years. So our first customers, it's mainly drink factory from Malaysia, Indonesia, and Thailand. And this is the right time to do it because we have the mature hardware, also the software and the AI, and all this kind of factory is want to digitalize their factory with automate solutions. Today, we have the MVP, and we are actively looking for pilots to test and to optimize our solutions. So next year we will be commercial launch, and we will have those kind of in 2 years the significant revenue with OEM and distributor. So recently we have applied for a lot of kind of events. So last month with Singapore. Now with Meet Taipei, we have a booth here, so we have a demo. And next year with CES. To scale our team, looking for applying for IP and patents, and also to have our further revenue. So if you are interested on our product, so we can explore together how we bring automate solutions to every factory. Thank you.
Perfect. 7 minutes. Under.
So your product and your team, your technology seems to be pretty advanced. But in terms of sales, because I know you are the main founder, have you found people to manage your sales? Because that's going to be a tough part of that business. Sales.
The sales.
How to sell your product.
So now we are doing with some kind of connections. And of course, we are looking for expanding our teams to have this kind of sales and connection to sell our products. So we are now looking for in Asia. So as Singapore as the hub to Malaysia, Vietnam, and all this kind of Thailand. So we are looking to expand the team. Yes.
So what makes it 10x cheaper, or is it just that you will charge 10x less but have the same costs?
So it's cheaper because cheaper in cost of the cost of development. So they have industrial cameras and the edge device that we will choose optimized for the factory. And of course, what we want to do is to make it simplified for the clients, to simplify for the customers. Yeah.
in order to complete the automation process, you may consider some sorting system. So inspect and sort. Is there any plan for that?
It's not very sorting, but it's more like compilations. So because we want to compare with the perfect products. So each factory have their own products, and we will compare to the perfect one. So that means for each inspection, we have to bring the perfect one. We will scan the perfect one, the perfect bottles, and every time we will have the inspection of the bottle, we will compare with it. So it's more like a comparison algorithms.
Yeah, I assume what Revital means that if something is wrong, what happens? You know, is it setting off an alarm and somebody has to run up there and take it out manually?
Yes.
Is that not somewhat a half a solution?
Yeah. So now what we want to do is we have the signal. So if there is something wrong we will give you the signal. So this will be for the factory to handle the signal. So they can have from the signal to handle with robotic arms or just to move the product from the other convection belts. Yes.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Finally, our last contestant, Armco Labs Fan ID.
Hello, everyone. How's today? We are the final one. We are so excited. We are Fan ID, the Apple ID for live events, concerts, and retail, offering the future of fan experience with our AI-powered biometrics solutions. Before I start, let me ask a quick question. Any super fans of Blackpink? Taylor Swift? Yay! And then it could be your favorite soccer game team. And then you know it's hard to get tickets. Blackpink had a sensational concert in Kaohsiung. But many fans missed out because of the fake tickets scam and scalpers. At GD's concert, some fans even risk using fake ID because of the real name check. Bots spread like virus and COVID-19 is scary. Your ticketing journey probably starts with frustration. You know the feeling when you can't get the ticket, no matter how hard you try. And maybe you even try to watch the concert on from your balcony. This is what I did for the May Day concert 2024. Fan ID is a fan-first, privacy-first solution. With Fan ID, you can verify you're an authentic fan to unlock some smart VIP access. To build a great solution, you need a great team, and you are in good hands. We are from the MIT graduates and also UC Berkeley. Our expertise cover AI, cryptography, mobile, finance, and B2B sales. We have extensive professional experience from IBM, Microsoft, HTC, and Jackie Wu Company, and Nike. Collectively, we have over 50 years of experience in startup and ventures, and maybe even 100 years of professional experience. The industry partners understand your problem and then trust us to solve it. We got support from Garage Plus, NVIDIA Inception Program, and also the industry legend Isaac Chan. He's the Amaze manager. That's his Chinese name. The live events market is huge. It's projected to be over $3 trillion by 2033 globally, USD dollars. The secondary market, the reseller markets alone, is substantial, projected to be 19 billion by 2030 USD dollars globally. But artists, fans, they don't get benefit. So Fan ID empower authentic fans connections, eliminate scalpers, resellers, redirect the revenue back to them. It's a great opportunity. Fan ID is an AI biometric zero knowledge authentication system. Your face is your ticket. One fan, one ticket. It's fast, accurate, secure, convenient, and privacy preserving. We file a patent for our zero knowledge AI cryptographic system. When users register with us, they enroll their face locally with their phone on device. No face pictures sent to the server. And also, we use algorithm, which is one-way function. When our server is hacked, hacker can do anything. We enable offline entry verification at the venue, without internet, without expensive camera. We're able to achieve 2-second entry time. No more I-bond ticket, no more queuing. Our business is B2B, highly scalable, integrate with multiple partners and vendors, including ticketing platform, event organizers, venues, and payment gateway. We are able to maintain one centralized fan user base, which is an asset for the organizer. We also have a Fanverse, which is a fan management system. Our product line covers the entire journey of live events, from registration, purchase, and entry, with our Fan ID Express, Pay, Wayfinder, and ticketing. Fan ID Express costs about 2 to 3% of the ticket price. Fanverse revenue comes from VIP membership fees, about $20 to $30 per members, per artist, per year. And also we include F&B sales, merchandise, as well as advertising campaign, off-event and on-site. About $1.5 USD per ticket. Well, face biometric is here. It's being used at Osaka Expo for entry and for payment. With 7.43 billion of smartphones in 2005, to the launch of the smartphone era, smart glasses era, like this. There will be fewer phones, fewer QR code. Your face is your ticket. And investors in the sectors said biometrics will soon become standard for entry, payment, and ordering. It's a massive market. He hopes his portfolio companies to be the leader. And this company has already deployed it in the US in 300 locations across the US. Our plan is to expand in the US, in APAC.
And that's time.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Chambers, Dragon's Chamber, and thank you, my team, for making this amazing.
Thank you. I'm quite confused on where is your core technology and how would you describe the main customer?
So we're B2B. The main customers would be the ticketing platform and the payment gateways. We enable the face-to-entry and face-to-pay solutions. So let's say you go to Family Mart. You don't need to bring your credit card. You don't need to bring your phone. You go forward to the tablet, face scan. You can get your coffee. You can get your food or something like that. And one of the main reasons for some of these solutions is efficiency improvement. So at Osaka Expo, it's a huge event, lots of traffic. So they actually mandate the users not to use the phone, but use the face to enter. And it's like 2-second operations, much faster than me bringing my ticket from a pocket and such.
Okay, so the ticket providers and ticket sellers, quickly, where is your core technology?
The core technology is the AI for the face recognition and also the zero knowledge, which is the cryptographic algorithm that we own privately. So you might have been to China. It's very convenient. Some of the time they use the face for whatever function. It could be for entry, like I said, or even for metro, like subway station and such. But the problem is they don't preserve privacy. They have your face image in their server, in their database. We do that without any of your face information or your face photo on the server. That's why it's zero knowledge. And that's very important to go in Taiwan's market and also Western markets.
Thank you for sharing today. I would like to ask, could you please elaborate more on a business model? Because I'm a little bit confused in terms of like, what's the type of business model? I also saw the VIP management there, fan base management. Could you please elaborate on that part?
Sure.
Thank you.
So in Taiwan, you get a baseball ticket or concert ticket. Normally, you go to 7-Eleven, you get your paper tickets from iBond, right? Now, you don't need to do that. We work with this ticketing platform. We integrate with them. We replace iBond. So you redeem your ticket to your Fan ID wallet. And then we charge the ticketing platform based on the purchase price. So this one is $30 NTD. We charge around $30 to $60 on average because most of the time the average concert ticket is about 3,500 NTD. So that's one of the business model. Another one is the fan management. So a lot of time, big, high demand concerts, they would allocate pre-sale tickets to some of the partners or sponsors. So we maintain a good fan base. We don't plan to roll it out until 2028 when we have a solid database. And when we have it, we offer this membership priority access to the fans, the members. And it's very similar to in Korea. Usually people are willing to pay for $20 to $30 USD to get this early access. And so, yeah, we will share that revenue with the organizers.
I figure the key point here is, does the big players like Ticketmaster and so on, do they want this? And do you have that connections to reach them?
We have the connections with local Ticketmaster APAC and Taiwan. We have a really good relationship with them. And that would be the future integration. Right now, we have a very active integration discussion with the local ticketing platform and also a payment gateway company.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. In the next few minutes, the Dragons are going to retire to their chamber, and they'll take a few minutes. I'd like to remind everybody that after we announce the winner, stick around. It's a good networking event, and then we will all migrate over to, I've been dying to say this all day long, we're going to DAM, which is just across the way in Maji Square. While the Dragons are making their decisions, I'd like to get your opinion. I want you to imagine that you are an investor with $1 million to invest, and you have to choose one of these 5 companies to invest in. And you're going to tell me your interest by the amount of noise that you make for each team, okay? Maybe we should warm up. How about a huge round of applause and a lot of noise for all 5 contestants? That's kind of lame. Do it again. Come on. That's better. All right. So you, the audience, have $1 million to invest. And you have to invest it in one of these 5 companies that you've just listened to. And you're going to vote by noise, and we're going to start with Prompt Master Pro. Okay. Next, we're going to try Dine Hire. Okay. IIST. Next, Integral. And Armco Lab Fan ID. I don't know. I think that's kind of stuff in the ballot box. I think that's kind of a tie between Prompt Master Pro and Armco Fan ID. But this time, we're going to do a runoff vote, and this corner of the audience, that's cheating. All right, if you would invest in Prompt Master Pro, give me a cheer. And Armco Fan ID? I still think it's a tie. All right, so we're going to take a few minutes. The judges will be right back out with their decision, and we will announce the winner of the 10th Annual Dragons Chamber. Thank you. Okay, the Dragons have made their decision, and I'm going to ask them to come to the stage.
Just take a seat. Please, yes. All right, everybody. Thank you for sticking around. And before we are announcing everything, I wanted to have a little bit of a chance for you guys to have a insight into the thought processes from the Dragons. So let's talk first about Prompt Master Pro. So a lot of your questions had to do with, first of all, the sales. So what do you think is, do you think that they will be able to go out there and get the sales that they need? Revital, you asked a question about that?
Well, I remember they had 4 target markets, mainly North America and Taiwan and China, Taiwan and Singapore. So first, I would ask, why in Taiwan? Why such company would establish their business here? Because the AI market is really moving more in America or in Europe and in the UK. Here, it's very hardware-centric country. So I wonder what is the essence of Taiwan and the role of Taiwan for them here in order to launch their sales.
Okay. And Torbjörn, you were very harsh on saying that there's a lot of competitors out there.
Yes, so I need to disclose that I'm a professor also, and I'm a vivid user of AI and actually doing research on AI, and I experience this problem every day with prompts. And I love the fact that they have introduced version control for the prompts, because that's what I want to have, and have it conveniently in every interface that exists. Now, having said that, the biggest problem with prompts, though, is that people first don't know what they want, and second, they don't know how to say it. And I see that when I compare, for example, my own prompting to my students, I can a lot faster get to where I want, and that's just because I have a bit more experience and know a little more what I want and also how to express it. And that problem is not being solved currently by them, from what I can see. Now, another thing I love about them is that I think they are right on time, because there's already a lot of talk about the AI bubble ending, and there's no doubt that we will soon enter the area where investors are simply tired of paying, and will start demanding that all the AI companies actually make a profit, or at least have a plan to profitability, because currently they are burning billions per quarter. And that's when people will actually start paying attention to how much a token costs and so forth. So to be positioned properly at that moment is going to be very valuable. However, I have no idea how they are going to be able to capture a significant enough market share to actually be the company that is correctly positioned when it happens. And right now, today, no one cares really about how much tokens are being used or what they cost, because there's so many all-you-want packages up to a limit that is enough for most people. So that's coming later, and it's it's one update for OpenAI to take their market in terms of accessing GPT. It's the same thing for Google and for any of the other companies. If they do the more technical version based on their current IDE, then they compete with AI agents. So there's competitors coming from every side. I don't see any moat, any way to even build a moat for that, except a large customer base. And I don't know how to get there. So unfortunately, I can't help them on that part.
All right. Any of you have something a little bit more positive to say about this fantastic team?
I think their go-to-market strategy is interesting in the long term, especially working with universities where the students will be trained and then hopefully will implement that into their own business. But that's super long term. So one of my big concern was, and that's kind of what I asked earlier, is how can you be able to find customers? You can't wait for 4 or 5 years until you get customers, like big customers paying for that. So I think that would be your main challenge, to be able to have enough of those small customers to pay for your bills and keep on living.
Okay. Igor, any thoughts?
Sure, I'll share my thoughts. I would say my thoughts are a blend of what you guys just said. One more thing which I would stress out in terms of like a presentation, it would be more of a competitor analysis, right? It's clearly stating we are better because of this, and this, and this, and we are beating them because of that, right? It would give me a better idea, better opinion what's going on and how you guys differentiate and what kind of competitive advantage you have. Yeah.
All right. Now, we're moving on to Dine Hire. For some reason, every time I hear Dine Hire, I'm thinking Die Hard. That's what I'm hearing somehow. Time for Christmas movies galore. So, I mean, everybody knows that the F&B industry is hurting for people. Is Dine Hire the solution?
I think for Taiwan, that project is really a great idea. I personally know some entrepreneurs in the food and beverage industry, so owners of restaurants. They would like to open more restaurants, but they can't. Number one reason, they can't find people. So I think that project has the potential to actually help Taiwan economy, also entrepreneurs to build new businesses and find those right resources. So I'm not saying it's going to be easy, but the idea of the project is very noble.
Revital, what do you think?
The pain is definitely there. The need is definitely there. The validation process and also the sales process that they're going to reach enough scale of restaurants and also applications is still unclear to me. It needs to be defined. I also wonder who is the team behind to support the deployment and the scale of this business idea, and that I didn't understand from the presentation.
Okay. I mean, personally, I would say every restaurateur I know is seeing, they have that need. So I think on the restaurant side, I see as a fairly simple way of reaching people. I wonder more on the supply side of the employees, how to reach all of those, foreign students, for example, or students overall, how to increase the supply of employees. What do you think, Torbjörn? You're the teacher. Will your students join the workforce?
Well, I have a few students that I know work extra in restaurants, so I believe they would love this thing. Now, what I'm most skeptical about is actually the current business model, because I don't think it's that interesting to actually compete with job posting sites and so forth. I actually think that he should give a serious thought to being employer on record, because that would provide a tremendous flexibility for the restaurant owners, and then actually have the employees so that they are certified, they are trained, and you can even then have, pricing that varies so that you can guarantee that the one who is willing to pay the most can always get someone, no matter what time of the day, which day of the week, as long as it's like 30 minutes in advance. Because some weekends are busier than other weekends for restaurant owners. And that would actually add a key addition that most restaurant owners can't really do today, because they have limited staff and they have more or less the same staff all the time. And that is to be able to temporarily increase your number of staff when you know that you have a weekend when you sell more, and then bring it down when it's a quiet period by having constantly a few employees coming through this service. And that would at the same time also give the stability, I think, to the company to be employer on record. So I would seriously investigate that. That would also, in my opinion, add the most credibility to it. And it's, after all, it's trust that is being sold. Then my other question is, why focus on only foreign students? I think Taiwanese students have an equally big need for this. Or a lot of people working in the restaurant industry, or having worked before and sometimes wanting to do a few extra hours when it pays well. However, from a targeting perspective, it makes sense because foreign students typically have their own social networks. So it makes it a little easier to reach the candidates in that sense. And of course, it helps them, and being an immigrant myself, I love that part.
Right. Let's move on to IIST, okay? So I don't even have a PhD and I still have no hair. So
he's over there.
Yeah, where is he? Yeah, there he is.
He's busy talking to an investor, probably.
Hey, Nicholas, we're talking about you. Somebody let him know. Does he have a clear customer base? What do you guys think? Jan?
I think customers, obviously, in the next generation of hardware, we need to have those security implemented in there. How to reach them, again, as an entrepreneur, for me, is the biggest problem is always how to make the big first sales to get going. I think that B2B, and especially in this kind of hardware business, it takes like a year and a half, 2 years to be able to transform like a customer that you approach into a pilot and then into signing something. So the sales cycle is going to be super, super long. So ideally, need to have a sponsor as a customer who's ready to also invest in you to get you going.
Go ahead.
Yeah. System integrators, they want to sell their system, and they need to see the demand from their clients. So I think that there will be a problem in terms of in the sales process, where the system integrators will say, wait a minute, why do we need it? We need to have the request from our customers to have this feature. So I have this problem in terms of like, how do they plan to sell their products and to these system integrators, and is it the right target client?
Right. Igor, you're a professional investor here. You're looking for things to put your funds money in. How do you look at IIST?
Well, there's the thing, my opinion might be biased because I have people to report to, right? GPs and LPs, right? So my opinion might be biased, but although this industry can be sometimes tricky, it's also important where the company is positioned, right? Especially we are in Taiwan. Taiwan is basically a hub for hardware, hub for semiconductors. So I feel like in terms of the geographic positioning, it's very well projected. However, overall go-to-market strategy, I would say, from my opinion, is positive, and slowly building from Turkey, following to the other parts is a valid idea. Yep.
All right, Professor.
So when I was looking at the deck first, I got really confused about the go-to-market strategy and business model. The presentation on stage provided significant clarity. I in particular was worried that you were trying to both do B2C and do B2B at the same time, because that's really hard for a company to do. But now it's clear to me that you do B2B, and that's a good choice. And being here in Taiwan, it's the right choice, no doubt about it, in my opinion, at least. Now, this is a problem that far too long has been neglected, so I love to see your solution on it. Now, one question I'm having, though, when it comes to long-term competition, I have, for example, heard about the US company that is utilizing noise that is intrinsic to circuits. How likely do you think it is that a competition is popping up from that who could actually do a software solution on existing hardware that could compete with you? I mean, I haven't seen any for that, but when you open Pandora's box, there might be people who realizes, oh, we can actually do it without the hardware. So I would love to discuss this with you afterwards.
All right. Jumping on to Next Integral, our second solo founder in the group. Jan, you're a founder of, you've done several startups. It's hard to be a founder. How should Tech think about when to start building his team and so on, so he can achieve the sales and everything else that needs to be done?
Yeah, being an entrepreneur is a very lonely experience. Even you are with a founder, another co-founder, it's very hard to always share all those difficulties because your journey as an entrepreneur will be like with some up and a lot of downs, and people maybe only remember the ups when maybe you sell your company or you succeed, but there will be a lot of downs. And what I see in tech is a very strong technical person, obviously coming from École Polytechnique in France, which is a top engineering school. So great potential there, but really the sales part, the marketing side is where ideally a co-founder is needed to be able to work together to really push the company. But because just a hardware product or just a product, a solution without all the sales and marketing, it's going to be tough. So I know you've been looking for that, so hopefully you've made progress over the last few weeks on finding a good co-founder.
And if we're looking at his price points and his target market, are they matching? Is the Southeast Asian market going to look at 15,000 upfront fees and so on? What do you guys think?
Yeah, that was one of my concerns at the beginning because not only looking at the Taiwanese customers are very CP focused, right? So it's either very cheap or very high performance in terms of performance. Another part is cost of labor. Cost of labor in Southeast Asia, which is one of the target markets, is relatively low, and target customers or target group is SMEs, right? So the question on point is, are the SMEs willing to spend 15,000 upfront and then $250 every month in terms of subscriptions? That's the question I would be mostly concerned about, and perhaps think about whether there is a way to work the business model around.
Yeah, or for that matter, go out and prove it to us by either doing the sale or doing the surveys at the very least, right? You have some thoughts?
Like I mentioned in one of the questions, I was missing the sorting problem because whether you alert or you improve the vision quality control, there's another step, and that step, should it be done by a person, or how do we solve it? How do we go to the next step and making our product really more effective and more comprehensive in terms of the automation line?
Okay. All right. I would like to jump on to our last team, Fan ID. So, of course it makes sense to me that we want to get away from the scalpers and so on, but is this the solution? What do we think?
So when it comes to Fan ID, I recognize a lot of the problems described in the beginning. I actually bought tickets for the Olympics when it was in Paris, just to discover then that I couldn't actually go. Then I could resell them to the Olympics, but at quite a bit of a loss, when I would have liked to make a profit because I was selling them, just before the games, and there should have been a demand, and I should have been able to take advantage of that. So the problem actually is the lack of a second-hand market that is supported by the company that has the right to sell the tickets. That's the main problem as I see when it comes to ticketing for events, and this doesn't solve that. Now, another question that I was having was, okay, the hardware needed at the ticketing gates, how much does that cost? How easy is that to move from one place to another and so forth? And also when you have different cameras, how does that affect the precision of the identification? And then if you consider that you are going to have hundreds of millions of people going through, the error rate of 0.005, that's actually a lot of mistakes that's going to make people very angry, not being able to enter, or in some cases, maybe the wrong person even getting in. And if there's no second-hand market, people are still going to try with this system to cheat it. So that's the part I'm missing.
Who else has a thought about Fan ID?
Well, I had some similar concern to you about the technology, scanning faces using your phone and then being transcribed into an external server that's going to use a different hardware to read your face. I just have doubts, and ultimately, as what you say, if it's even 0.005%, it's still some people who won't be able to make it into the stadium or whatever, the venue. So I'm not sure the face recognition is something I'm using as a ticketing solution. So biometrics maybe, but I don't know. I have a bit of difficulties to feel that business case, despite the fact, as you mentioned, all those problems are real. But how to solve them, I'm still a bit dubious.
Revita?
I was looking for a focus. At one point, there were so many sectors talked about: AI, crypto, finance, ticketing. What was their focus, and where is their main technology? How is their main technology showing that it goes towards their focus and direction? I didn't get it. There was a lot of buzzwords, and I was missing the essential. Also on the business model, there was also this information that was missing. Another thing, and who is the team? Who is the team around it to support it? That is also something that is very, very important, especially when you have such a huge goal as Face ID, which requires a whole team to support you.
I'll just quickly throwing my word. From investor perspective, if I'm looking at a team who is developing something, who is bringing something to the market, I want to know people who are building it. I want to know people who are behind it, people who can take it further, right? We're shared a team. Team is full of people from MIT. I'm thinking it's UCLA or Berkeley. Why not to share? I feel like sharing them with us, who it is, seeing those people would be very interesting. At least we can see, like, okay, these people have previous experience. Because, for instance, I don't know, founder might have a chemistry degree from MIT. Is it relatable to what they are doing right now, right? We don't know, right? We don't know what's going on. We don't know who is behind it. And having a combo, let's say, of a business and technical founder is also great, right? So sharing a little bit more about the founder's background, I think it's very important.
So the one real, I mean, what all of them started talking about there was really the teams. They felt like basically all of you didn't share enough about the teams you have, or how you're going to cover all the areas that your companies will require. I mean, it doesn't always have to be a co-founder team or an employee team. I mean, it can also be an outsourced team or an advisor team, right? There's different ways of making sure you have the expertise on your roster, right? John, you have started so many companies. How have you sometimes solved that problem, getting the right people on the bus?
Actually, that's true. For the success of a business, the team is number one. So, okay, different businesses, different like co-founders and stuff like that. So I always had co-founders, but the hardest thing was not necessarily the co-founder, it's to recruit the first people to join the team and give them the right culture. And yeah, recruiting is just so hard, so hard. So I went through a few mistakes, of course, as any entrepreneur does. But ultimately, I managed to find in all of my businesses the right team. So it took a few iterations, and then actually, fortunately, they all went to success. But that was really because of the team, because I had the chance to select the right people to join the team, and sometimes prune the team, so like fire the people when they were not right, so that the company could focus on success.
All right. I think we'll end there, but please help me all to give these fantastic dragons. They volunteer their time. They spend their own time to come here and participate in this. So thank you very much, all of you. So it's time for us, we're going to go down there, and it's time for us to move on to announcing the winners.
As we take a few moments to clear the stage, and I know you're all waiting to hear who the winners are, I want a message to all you, to all 5 contestants. I hope that you've enjoyed the experience. I hope that you've gained from the mentorship, from the advice that you've been given over the many months that we've been doing this. I want to remind you that all of you walk away with something. From Musa Trademark, there is service-free Taiwan and discounted China trademark applications for the first place team. But there is also discounted trademark services for the US and Taiwan for all 5 of you. All 5 of you have a free membership in the Canadian Chamber of Commerce. All 5 of you have 3 months of phone answering services, as well as 30,000 NT worth of telemarketing services. Take advantage of those things. And with that, I'd like to invite Jan and Jesse up to the stage to present the award for the 3rd place team. In 3rd place, Dine Hire. Thank you. Congratulations to Dine Hire. Our 2nd place finalist in the 10th annual Dragons Chamber is, hold on, I'd like to invite Torben and Rebital to come up and to make the presentation. The 2nd place finalist is Prompt Master. Congratulations, Prompt Master. I'd like to invite Elias and Igor to the stage to make the final presentation. And the winner of the 10th annual Dragons Chamber goes to IIST. Congratulations to IIST, and thank all of you for joining us today. Stick around and network. Join us later at DAM, just across the way in Maji Square. And I'd like to ask all contestant companies, the judges, and Jesse and everyone else who's been involved in organizing this to come to the stage for pictures.
Can I also have the, all the sponsors and all of the people who are part of the auditioning process? Harold, for example, would you like to join us up on stage? Andrew, of course. Diva, please come up. Okay, that's it. Don't forget, we're going over to Dam at 5 o'clock for drinks, okay? Revital, I'm gonna buy you a drink. Make sure you're gonna be there. All right, so 5 o'clock, it's like 30 meters, easy to find, and we're gonna enjoy until we can't move anymore.